What's your mentality going into this fight?
I can't wait. I got 12 days of heavy anticipation, heavy hoping that nothing goes wrong. Not for us so much because I have a handle on that, but for David, that Mark has got a handle on his so that we get to the point where they step to the ropes and they shake hands and boom, we all get to enjoy a great fight. So I think that's the toughest part. We've done all the hard work already. Now it's just a matter of maintaining. I'm sure as David is now, and Mark, his coach Ramsey is an exceptional coach. So just hoping that he's got things under control so that we don't lose this night.
In your opinion, what specifically do you think David Lemieux can do to possibly give Gennady problems?
Nothing. But what David needs to do, I think what David must understand and needs to understand, if he doesn't already, I know Mark knows, is that this is where you value yourself. When Canelo lost against Mayweather, Canelo became a superstar. Why did he become a superstar? Because it was Floyd that beat him. You know, if this young man goes on to do the things that I think he can do, then there's no shame in losing to Golovkin. It's what you do after Golovkin is going to be important. He's young, immense talent, immense punching power. He may not be ready for this step. We won't know until the 17th. I don't think he's ready for the step, but the 17th will tell us. But he's got to understand that this is just the beginning of his career. This is really just the beginning of his superstardom, if that is to come.
A lot of people think that this is Gennady's toughest test. Are you in that same mindset? Do you think so far in his career that this is Gennady's toughest test?
The last 4 or 5 fights, if you go back and read the articles, they were the toughest test. Every fight's been the toughest test. To me, Curtis Stevens was more accomplished. David Lemieux is what everything is, just like with Golovkin, it's what everything is right about boxing. He's a nice young man, he's a good-looking young man that presents himself well. Inside the ring, he does what we fight fans want to see. So there's going to be no loser in this fight. I think that, like I said, both of them are going to go on to bigger and better things. But it is a tough test because it's the next one for us. Because if we don't win this one, we're not talking about the next one.
Right. And, I know you guys obviously are very focused on your opponent ahead, but, in the event that you guys are to win this, what do you think would be a logical next step for Gennady's career?
Golovkin wants to unify the titles, first of all. That's been his main goal since it seemed like other fighters were just talking and not acting. So Andy Lee has already talked about unifying, but in the immediate future after this fight, the WBC mandated that the winner of Cotto-Canelo has to fight the winner of Lemieux-Golovkin, or else the other guy will get the belt if they choose not to fight him. If that's the case, and we'll fight somebody in the 60-pound division, I guess, in the WBC rankings for that belt, then he'll be WBC champion. If Andy Lee decides that after the Saunders fight, wants to fight Golovkin, that's the 4th belt. After the 4th belt, then who knows what may happen. There's other challenges, I'm sure, out there, but the 4 belts are very important to Golovkin.
And how do you like your odds against the winner, either Cotto or Canelo? I know that Gennady has sparred, Canelo before and they've worked together. How do you like your odds? I mean, are you extremely confident,
Extremely confident. The sparring is one thing and the fight is totally different. In sparring, they're trying to help each other. They're not trying to hurt each other, they're trying to help each other. But Canelo has developed very well. After that Floyd fight, he learned a lot, not only physically, he's gotten better physically, but he's learned a lot from the Mayweather fight mentally. So, but I like my chances. I like my chances because I think I have the best horse in the race. I think that the only thing keeping them from being the mega superstars is those guys' willingness to fight him. But then, if they do, like I said, they'll go on to bigger and better things too, because there's no shame in losing to somebody that becomes great, as in Mayweather.
Is David Lemieux going to bring the best out of Gennady Golovkin?
For this fight, yes. I think that we're not quite, we're 85-90% of what Golovkin can do. I think that David presents that challenge to make him a little more focused on what is the task at hand. So yes, for this fight, yes.
Thank you very much for your time, Abel. Best of luck.